let's talk about Guy Ritchie's Sherlock Holmes, the first one that came out in 2009. This is Sherlock Holmes 1 with a first off of Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., and of course Jude Law. There's also Rachel McAdams and Martin Strong as the villain. And this is weirdly the first thing I see with Martin Strong, but I do not remember him being in this movie at all. So this is the first Guy Ritchie movie I ever see back in the day. Not really knowing anything about him and stuff like that, and not really being a fan of him as a director yet. But no, this is like a big 2009 blockbuster, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people who have nostalgia for this film, and I'm sure if I watched this film a bit more growing up, I probably would have had nostalgia for it too, because this is a good movie. This is a solid film. For those who don't know, it is about Sherlock Holmes, fresh off of taking down Martin Strong, who is named Blackwood in this. Lord Blackwood in this film. Blackwood is this black magic type of guy who goes around doing black magic rituals and all this kind of stuff, basically spreading all the all the witchy, he's a witchy woman, all the witchiness, and he dies, but it seems like he doesn't really die, and that there's possibly a supernatural element to his death, and of course the alchemy that he practices. And it is up to Sherlock Holmes to sort of be like, hey, why is this dude, how is this guy possibly still alive, and how did he not die? Jude Law plays Watson, and I think this movie really is carried by Jude Law and Robert Downey Jr.'s charisma, their chemistry together, and their performances as Sherlock and Watson. This Watson is post all of their adventures that we know from the books. Basically, it's one of those stories. It's post all their really famous adventures, and now Watson is trying to enter in a new period of his life. He's going to try to marry this woman named, I think, Mary, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, this is overall a pretty good film. This has Rachel McAdams in it, and this is probably the first thing I see her in. I don't really get the obsession with Rachel McAdams. I like her in the Doctor Strange movies, particularly the second one, although I think she's really great in the first one. I do like her in the Doctor Strange movies, but I've never really gotten the obsession with Rachel McAdams, really. I think she's my age when she does Mean Girls, I think. Actually, she might be older than me when she does, because I think she's the same age as Amy Poehler, so she actually might be older than me when she does Mean Girls, actually. But I've never really gotten the obsession with her. She's okay in this film. The real standouts are Downey and Jude Law. And yeah, I think they did a good job, but my overall issue with this, and particularly it's the next installment, is that these aren't necessarily mystery movies. There is a mystery to be had, but I feel like the problem with the Sherlock Holmes films that Guy Ritchie did is that they aren't really mysteries. They aren't asking you to ask questions about what's going on. There's these clues. The copper tub being emptied, and how that's peculiar, and all these little things that the movie shows you that you're supposed to memorize, but you don't really, because this movie isn't about the mystery element. It's not about how does Sherlock Holmes solve this mystery. It's more about the action set pieces, and they are quite impressive. The one on the bridge, the one on around the boat that's under repair is really cool. Guy Ritchie sort of does the beginnings of that style that he does with King Arthur, where King Arthur has like his superhero like god mode. You sort of see that early. You see like an early version of that in this film with Sherlock Holmes. The idea that Sherlock Holmes is very analytical and it could probably take down a dude in like just a few blows. So he's like, you know, I'm gonna slap this guy's ear, and then I'm gonna hit him in his face, and then I'm gonna slap his other ear, and then I'm gonna hit him in his face again, and then I'm gonna like crack his rib, and then I'm gonna dislocate his jaw, and like, you know, you see that, and it's impressive, but it's also like sensory overload, and it just isn't necessarily super good. And the mystery element, like I said, none of the pieces are really falling into place. You're not really, you know, you as an audience member aren't really getting invited to put these pieces together. So by the end of the movie, when Sherlock Holmes, you know, is sort of saying like, oh, like, I was able to solve this because of this. I was able to solve, you know, in that, and, you know, this thing, the other thing. It's very impressive, and I think if you're not paying attention, and I'm sure at the time when people watched this in the theater, that seemed like a very good mystery, but like all these years removed, that's not a good mystery. And I think that unfortunately, the horribleness of the sequel actually kind of tarnishes this movie's reputation. Like, this is a good movie, and I think that it is entertaining. You will most certainly be entertained by this film, and it is on Max currently, so I do recommend you go and watch it, because like, it is nice and fun, and there are things that are most certainly good about it, but its biggest downfall is that the mystery isn't good. I sort of almost would relate it to like Knives Out. Now, I don't really like the first Knives Out movie. I will admit I did review it back in like the pandemic, and I liked it, I guess, as much as I possibly could have. I probably would still give it like a 2 stars if I had Letterboxd at the time. I'd probably give it like 2 stars, maybe 2.5, because there were a few things that made me laugh. But overall, I think that movie is just nothing, honestly, against Rian Johnson, but Rian Johnson strikes me as a very moronic person who thinks himself a genius, and his last 3 projects have been praised for their writing, so he's never going to change or try to improve his writing prowess, because his last 3 projects, 2 of them being Knives Out movies, were critically praised for writing of which that I don't necessarily think it deserved praise. But I can see why people who maybe just are your average layman and don't actually watch mystery movies as much as someone like me, I can see how you would think, oh, his Knives Out films are genius, you know, because like I can see how like a moron or Rian Johnson or just an average person would think, oh, you know, you did this, but actually the servants all call Chris Evans' Evans's character Hugh, so Hugh did this. So you did this becomes Hugh. Like, I can see how an idiot or a dipshit or Rian Johnson or a regular person who doesn't watch mystery movies would think that's brilliant. And you get that a lot in this movie, particularly the ending. I don't necessarily really like the ending, I guess, of this film, is what I'm getting at. Everything else, I think, is pretty good. This is an entertaining movie. And while part of it was peer pressure, I actually do stand by giving this movie 4 stars on Letterboxd. But I could easily have given this movie 3.5 stars. Because, yeah, I guess I don't like the ending. But yeah, but like I can see how your average person would think, oh, this is actually like really brilliant when it comes to like this movie, or a movie that just doesn't really have a good mystery but tries to purport itself as a mystery. But at least, you know, the Knives Out films are comedies, so you got that. But yeah, like I liked the first Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movie. And granted, I think I heard over the years that there's actually a lot of factors that are going into why a third movie never got made. I don't think A Game of Wars and Shadows, whatever the sequel's called, A Game of Shadows, I think. I don't think The Game of Shadows didn't necessarily do well at the box office. We'll get to that film next time. But like, it didn't do well at the box office. It also had some other issues. And of course, the titular main character, Sherlock Holmes himself, Robert Downey Jr., had been busy for like the last decade making Marvel movies. So like, no one really seems super eager to make a Sherlock Holmes 3. But it is still something that these people could do. I wouldn't say no to it, especially if they go more towards this, where this is just like an entertaining movie that might be a little too dark for kids to watch, but like, it's still entertaining enough that you could watch it with your kids, like my parents did. I'm like 10 when this comes out, and we all rented it from like Netflix, and back when Netflix had DVDs, we all get it on Netflix, and we like watch it as a family. My brother probably wasn't there, but my two sisters probably were. My brother was like, god damn, my brother's like really old. He was born in 91. He graduates, when does he graduate? Like, I think he graduates in the year this comes out. So shout out to my brother, you're old. LOL. But no, like, this is a good movie, and I think that if Guy Ritchie, if they ever make a third one of these, go to this, because the next movie is kind of like a really obnoxious and convoluted, like, spy movie. We'll get there. But yeah, this is our third to last Guy Ritchie review, and then I have two series that I think I'm going to alternate between movies, because they're both kind of like trilogies, so I'll just like alternate between them. But we're still doing that big list of movies that I want to review for the 5-year anniversary. We're still doing that. We're just gonna try to do it all. Not at all, but do it video by video, piece by piece. But yeah, there you go. So remember that God, He made you special. He loves you very much. I hope you have a very lovely day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment below. Let me know, what do you think of this film? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? All that kind of good stuff. And yeah, what is your favorite Guy Ritchie film? I know I've asked that a lot of y'all over the course of reviewing basically most of his entire filmography, except for 2 movies. But yeah, straight up, what is your favorite Guy Ritchie film? I would love to hear it. I can't wait to talk about Aladdin, because I know I'm going to, at the very least, enjoy Aladdin. And I'm kind of interested to see what I think of Aladdin now that I'm really familiar with Guy Ritchie's filmography from end to end, from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels to his most recent film, which is The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which is a film that I actually enjoyed quite a bit, and I talked about last time. But yeah, that is it for now. Remember, the guy made special. He loves you very much. I hope you have a very lovely day. I hope you had a very lovely week, and as always, God bless you all, and the game is afoot.